I'm the project officer for ERIC, the Institute of Education Sciences online database of education research. ERIC is also the Department of Education's repository for public access articles. The U.S. Department of Education's public access policy requires awardees of many grants and contracts to make the full text of any peer-reviewed publications funded by their award freely available in ERIC. If you are a researcher funded by an IES grant or contract, you are subject to the department's public access policy. The policy applies to all IES PIs, postdocs, or other researchers, including research and training grants. For IES contractors, this also applies to your work. If you publish peer-reviewed work through a mechanism other than an official IES publication, such as a white paper, contractor-published paper, journal article, or conference paper, you must follow these guidelines as well. Some awards funded by ED offices outside of IES are also subject to the ED public access policy. Please check with your project officer if you have any questions about whether or not this applies to your work. Here are 5 things you need to know to make compliance with this policy as easy as possible. First, you must acknowledge your funding in the acknowledgement section of each manuscript. You need to include your Department of Education grant or contract number or numbers. For IES grantees, please refer to your performance agreements and reach out to your IES program officer for assistance. The program officer will give you the specific acknowledgement language you should use and can confirm the grant or contract numbers. The grant number is 11 characters long and includes a letter, followed by 3 numbers that indicate the office funding the grant, followed by a letter that indicates the type of grant, then followed by 2 digits that represent the year the award was funded, and then 4 digits which are unique to your award. For example, you can see this grant number here, R305A160280. Please double and triple check these numbers. We use these numbers to identify the office that funds your work and ensure that your award is being tracked accurately for compliance. Second, please pay attention to your publication agreements and ensure that you do not sign away copyright. You want to look for language in agreements that acknowledges federal funding and allows you to retain the rights to deposit the full text of your work in ERIC. Third, you need to make sure that the PDF of your manuscript gets to ERIC. There are 2 ways that this happens. The publisher can either deposit it on your behalf, or you can submit the work directly to ERIC. ERIC has made special agreements with a subset of publishers to streamline the process of obtaining full-text articles. These publishers will give the full text of articles published by IES awardees to ERIC. They will deposit them on the grantee's behalf. You can see a list of these publishers and the relevant journals on the page listed here. If you are publishing in one of these journals or non-journal sources, then you do not need to do any additional work. The publisher will ensure that your article complies if you have acknowledged ED funding correctly. For example, any work published by the Institute of Education Sciences will automatically be deposited into ERIC. That is why most contractors do not need to take any additional actions to comply with this policy. I want to clarify that this list is not the same as publishing your article as open access. Often awardees will pay journals to have their article displayed as open access or not behind a paywall. That is great, but it does not mean that you are in compliance with the policy. If you publish in a journal that is not on this list, then you will have to submit your manuscript to ERIC, even if the article is open access on the publisher's website. You will also have to do this for any published conference proceedings that are peer-reviewed. To submit your work, you will have to use ERIC's online submission system to upload your PDF and make a grantee submission record. Contractors, you will follow the grantee submission process, even if you are funded under a grant or a contract or a cooperative agreement. You should send your manuscript to ERIC as soon as possible after your work is released. This will often be before a journal article is officially published and while it is still considered an online first. The first step is deciding which version of your manuscript you will upload along with the record. You can either submit the final peer-reviewed manuscript, the version that is accepted for publication but may not have gone through final editing, or the journal version of the article. Both versions are acceptable to us. However, you must A, check your agreement with the journal to see if the journal specifies which version to deposit, and B, make sure that the version that you use is a 508 compliant PDF that includes the grant or contract number. Once you know what version you will upload, you're going to go to eric.ed.gov/submit. This URL is found in the footer of our website. You need to read the information on the screen and then fill out the form. Fourth, you need to make sure that the information on the submission form matches the PDF exactly. Often journals publish articles as online first, several months before they assign the article an issue or volume number. Grantees submit a PDF of the online first version, but they include the published metadata on the web form in an attempt to be helpful. So the PDF of the article says that it was published in May 22 with no volume or issue numbers, but the metadata on a form has a March 2023 release date with volume and issue numbers. We need the information on the form to match the PDF. So if your PDF has older citation information, do not update it with the newer information. We need everything to match completely for data verification purposes. Again, we don't have a preference on which version you use, just that the data match. If the document that you are going to submit does not have the grant number or all required fields, then there are two options. You can either revise the PDF to include the missing information, often the acknowledgement section, or you can fill out this cover sheet that is available on the grantee submission page and append it to the original PDF file so you submit a single PDF. And fifth, after submitting your manuscript to ERIC, watch your email. Upon uploading to ERIC, you will get a confirmation email with a submission number. That just means that we have received your PDF and record information. It does not mean that it is accepted just yet. If there is a problem with your submission, you will receive an email from ericrequests@ed.gov explaining what you specifically need to do to correct your submission. You'll need to make any necessary changes and resubmit your article through the system. If you do not receive an email requesting changes, it means that your submission was accepted and should be on our website in about 6 weeks. Initially, only the abstract and bibliographic information will be available. We will make the PDF available 12 months after the article was published, per the terms in the ED Public Access Policy. If you have any questions, you are always welcome to contact us at ericrequests@ed.gov. Thank you.